Today is the 1-year anniversary of this YouTube channel. That's right, Positively Portugal is now 1 year old. Exactly. So, where we are up to in this whole process now are the little things. I have most of the big things. I have the NIF, I have the bank account, I even have a mostly positive update on the D8 visa situation. But that's another video for another time. Where we are now are truly the little things. My name is Howie. This is Positively Portugal. Let's get into it. So, one of the biggest concerns I've had is I'm not sure, or I wasn't sure, who I'm going to use for services like cell phone, home internet, even television, which I really don't need. And although I have no use for it whatsoever or no desire for it, home phone. But I really don't seem to have a say in that matter. Well, there are 3 major companies that offer these services in Portugal. There is Vodafone, MEO, and NOS. In no particular order. I don't want that to sound like Vodafone is the main company when in fact it really is not. Just somebody had to be mentioned first. So these services are going to be judged in 4 categories: cell phone coverage, home internet, television services, and simplicity. When I say simplicity, I mean, is the website or the app easy to use? Can I navigate through it? Can I pay the bill without having to go into a store? And what about an English version of the website or app? So, when you Google these things and you want more information as to who the best company to use is, the consensus from what you find is that for home internet, NOS is the best. For cell phone coverage, MEO is the best. Not by a lot. You know, and that goes both ways, either cell phone coverage or home internet, not by a lot. But most people seem to think that MEO is best for cell phone coverage and NOS is best for home internet. So, Vodafone really doesn't have, I don't want to say that they have bad reviews, but they don't have better reviews than either NOS or MEO. We're going to start here with television services, which are not important to me. I plan on having my Fire Stick with an IPTV service, so it's not really a consideration, so to speak. When I look at the options here, it seems that NOS is the only one who offers traditional cable television services. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can't find anything with cable TV for either MEO or Vodafone. But that's not to say that they don't offer it. They might. It's just the problem there is with the simplicity. You see, Vodafone is very convoluted. It took me a long time to find anything on that website other than cell phone coverage. When I finally found it, I found that there really wasn't any kind of traditional cable television services. It relied on streaming services like their V-Box, V for Vodafone, as opposed to V for Vendetta. Now, I don't need a V-Box. I have a Fire Stick. This is already settled. So if I'm going to pay for television services, it has to be traditional cable television. I don't want a V-Box. And when it comes to MEO, I don't want a MEO box. That is a thing. MEO also offers televisions, actual physical televisions, but no cable television services. It includes more streaming things. One is a Xiaomi, I think I said that right, I don't speak Chinese, a Xiaomi television, which is a fair deal, about €3.50 for 24 months. I can't imagine it's bad. It kind of sounds like it's basically a free television. Another is a Sony for a lot more. I think it was something like €8 or €9 a month. But still, overall, very good for a Sony. But again, I don't need this. I want to be able to get the television that I want to get. I don't want to rely on a service provider for my TV. Now, obviously, Sony is among the best of the best. It's an elite brand. I don't know the first thing about Xiaomi. They're not in the United States. They're probably banned in the United States. Yeah, I'm going to rule out anything by Xiaomi. I simply don't want to be spied on by the Chinese Communist Party. Now, as for Sony and their TV, okay, great. It's a free 43-inch Sony TV. I shouldn't say free. You are paying for it to the tune of €8 or €9 a month for 24 months. But that's not the point. I want to be the person who decides what television I'm getting. And the reason I say that is, here in the United States, we have a company called Vizio. They're the best. Now, I don't care about in terms of graphics, specs and statistics, because the truth of the matter is, I'm not one of these people that's going to notice the difference. What I can tell you about Vizio is, I got my flat screen HD TV in the summer of 2008. Well, it's now the fall of 2024. This television has lasted me for more than 16 years, and I haven't had any problems. So if I was staying in the United States, I would not consider a Sony or any other company than Vizio, because why would I? I know I'm going to get the best possible longevity from Vizio. So I don't need MEO services there. I don't need Vodafone services. NOS is offering two packages. One has 150 channels, the other has 180 channels. And it's really just a difference of no more than €3 a month. So I would just take their 180 channels. I would still take my Fire Stick with an IPTV service for anything American that I might want to watch. And the IPTV service, I'm not going to go into who they are, but it's $47 for the whole year, which comes out to less than €4 a month. And that's just the way to go. So in terms of television services, I'm sorry, I want to pick my own TV. I don't need what MEO is offering. I don't need what Vodafone is offering. I'm going to give the victory there to NOS. Home internet service, that's one of those things you're never really going to know. Like, if a website takes a quarter of a second longer to load than with another provider, well, what the hell do you know about that? Unless you have a side-by-side comparison, does it really make a difference? So I'm going to take the word of the internet here and just agree with them that NOS has the best home internet and Wi-Fi coverage. And the same thing I'll say about cell phone coverage. I'm not going to notice it for the most part unless I have a ton of drop calls with another provider. But from what I've read, the difference isn't all that great. And okay, if MEO has the best cell phone coverage, then I'll give the win there to MEO. Like I mentioned about home phones, I haven't had one since 2002. That's 22 years without home phone coverage. It's a dead technology. I don't know why carriers or providers in any country are still focused on home phone. That should just go out the window. I remember when cell phones were kind of in its infancy, people kept their home phones and they would justify it by saying, well, I'm going to keep my home phone in case of an emergency. Well, here we are in 2024. Home phones are internet-based. So if there's an emergency, it's not the home phone that's going to work. It's the cell phone. So you tell me, what the hell is the point of having a home phone? I don't know. And, now we're going to talk about simplicity. I can't deal with Vodafone's website. It took so long to find anything that was not about cell phones. And then once I did, I kind of felt like I didn't care. And when you Google Vodafone in Portugal, they're not the leader in anything. I was even told by the company that's helping me move to Portugal that, hey, your address might not be served by Vodafone. And what that means is I could still get them for cell phone coverage if I wanted, but I wouldn't be able to have them for home internet and television services. And now I find out they really don't have traditional telephone. Pardon me, I said telephone. They don't really have traditional television services. I don't care about their telephone services. So Vodafone, they're kind of written off right from the get-go. I just don't need their services. So now, before we get into MEO versus NOS, keep in mind that there's really no price difference between the three companies. Everything ranges from 64 to 69 euros a month for all the things that you need. The one thing I like about MEO is I have the option for unlimited data with MEO, whereas I really don't with NOS. They won't let me choose that on the website if I want a bundle deal. I'm sure I could arrange that in a store, but this is one of those things where it's going to be settled before I move to Portugal. I'm not going to Portugal without knowing who I am using. Now, that being said, here's the big question. How much data am I using here in the United States on my cell phone? I use like 2 gigs a month. That's it. So NOS is offering me 10 gigs a month. And that's more than enough. That's more than enough to the tune of 5 times of what I need. I really don't need unlimited data. I like having it. I don't like having to think about it. But even with not having to think about it and just going about my regular life, I'm not using really any more than 2 gigs of data a month. When I move to Portugal, I expect the first and second months I'll be using more than 2 gigs of data just for GPS services to figure out where I'm walking around to, where's the nearest Continente, Pingo Doce, and in Guimarães, they even have a Mercadona. I'm also going to want to know how to get to the big castle, how to get to the stadium where Vitória plays, how to get to some of the best bars. So, yeah, just for the first month or two, I'm going to be using more than 2 gigs of data a month. But after that, what the hell do I need unlimited data for? And the biggest flaw that MEO has is their English website does not work. At least not on the iPhone Safari browser. But I can't imagine that it's any different with an Android phone or a regular computer like a laptop or a tablet or whatever. Their English website simply doesn't load. Now, I'm not fluent in Portuguese. Although that's a character flaw of mine, that's a fault of mine. I need to become fluent in Portuguese. I'm not there yet. So, I'm not going to punish myself by not having cell phone, internet, and television services. NOS is simple. I know what I'm getting with NOS. Their website and their English website works seamlessly. It's flawless. I will say, because of the unlimited data that MEO offers, I have a feeling that I'm getting a little more bang for my buck if I go with MEO. But for where I am in my knowledge of Portuguese and being 41 days away from moving to Portugal, I'm 35 days away from leaving Florida, but I'll be spending 6 days in New York. I'm 41 days away from moving to Portugal. For where I am, the most important thing is simplicity. I need to be able to use their website, to use their app. I don't want to go to a store to pay my bill. This needs to be all figured out before I get to Guimarães. So, of the 4 categories, cell phone coverage, MEO is the winner from reputation and for the option of having unlimited data. For television services, NOS wins. For home internet services, NOS wins. Even though all 3 companies, NOS, MEO, and Vodafone, are offering the same specs, like 200 gigs, 500 gigs, or a full gig. Pardon me, let me take that back. 200 megs, 500 megs, or a full gig. In fact, I don't remember seeing a full gig on NOS's website. I saw it for MEO and I saw it for Vodafone. I didn't see it for NOS, but what I can tell you is the technology isn't there yet anyway. Nobody needs a full gig of download speed on home internet and Wi-Fi. And you don't really get that speed with Wi-Fi anyway. So I'm going to go by reputation here, and I'm going to give that to NOS. And simplicity, which was the most important thing to me, does the English website work? Is the website not convoluted and hard to navigate? By miles, by leaps and bounds, by light years, NOS is the winner on that. So, the final answer is, I'm going with NOS for everything. It's going to be a bundle deal, including the crap I don't need, like home phone coverage. I'm not even going to have a home phone. It's just going to have that option if and when I ever decide to get it, and I ain't getting it. I don't need it. I don't want it. I haven't had a home phone in 22 years. But 3 out of 4 categories, NOS wins. So there we have it. I'm going with NOS. It's crunch time. I didn't think I would ever be in this situation where I get to talk about the little things, but here we are now. Most of the heavy lifting is over with. We are now talking about the little things. So I want to thank you all for watching. If you want more videos about moving to Portugal, the process of getting there, Portuguese football, and anything Portugal, please smash that subscribe button. Like the video, leave a comment. Of course, the most important thing is to subscribe. Subscribing to a YouTube channel is the #1 way to help a content creator. Once again, I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll be back pretty soon with more videos. Have a good one, everybody.